Hello y'all and welcome to today's Controversy Friday. I don't think it's much controversy today because I ask you on the community tab on YouTube and of course in the Instagram stories, what are your specific makeup pet peeves? And here it was not like important if it is packaging or specific user things or shade things or marketing things. I wanted to know all the tea, so let's talk about this today. And I changed the lighting a bit because today for the look I will be using the Beauty Bay Midnight palette, which is, well, very fitting. And I also am using the Rabanne Duo in Midnight Lights. It's actually a shame that I haven't used this, but I actually bought this back when I bought all the other duos, and I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago, just chatted with a friend on Instagram and I was like, oh, I wish I had Midnight Lights. And when I was just sorting out here in my shelves, I do have a specific little box now with the new sorting thing that I have going on, where I have duos and quads all in one little container. And I was counting through and I was comparing it with my Excel spreadsheet and I was like, wait, I have 4 Rabanne duos in my spreadsheet, but I have 5 sitting here and I completely forgot that I have Midnight Lights. So thank to the no buy, I didn't buy this when I felt the urge to. I actually had planned to buy this in April or so, but here we are and I thought, let's just do a very monochromatic look with a Beauty Bay Midnight one. Do you want to see a little spoiler on my focus items? I will definitely finish this till the end of March, until my no-buy is ending. And I'm very, very happy that this is going to happen. Because as I said in my intro of this, I do have this specific primer for probably 8 years, maybe more, maybe even 10. I have no clue when I bought this. But it's still going strong. And do you know why this is still going strong? Preservatives. Which is the first pet peeve that I want to mention that comes from me. And I'm surprised that nobody mentioned this in the community tab or in the Instagram comments. Everything being labeled clean beauty. Whenever I see a new brand popping up or I don't know, like a reformulation. I think the reformulation thing was mentioned once, but just the word clean beauty, I'm out. I'm not interested in the product anymore. I don't want to try it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to smell it, eat it, lick it, whatever. I just think clean beauty is another way of making you poor. Because let's be honest, with clean beauty, no preservatives mean, by the way, the whole term clean beauty is just bullshit, but no preservatives and stuff means your beauty stuff will go bad very, very quick. Like for example, my Say foundation that I had, I don't know, like 8 months, 7 months or so, that smelled fishy after that time and I really wanted to use it because I like it, but Say is a clean beauty brand. So I am quite curious on how the Star Glow filter things, the dewy stuff, that I have actually now 2 backup bottles of, one that I bought and one that I got in the advent calendar from Cold Beauty, how they will hold up, because I assume that they will turn bad, which would be a shame. But now let's head over to the Instagram comments. And no, this is not a torturing device. This is just an heated lash curler. And I always do that now before makeup. I don't know, I feel like it gives just a little bit of a difference. I'm also just heading a bit to the side so I can put up the comments here and not cover my forehead. See? I am learning. Not every palette needs a multi-chrome to be special. Oh, I couldn't agree more. Don't get me wrong. I love multi-chromes as much as the next person. And I think multi-chromes are very, very special. I love the way they look, the way they feel, the way they just are. But I'm also honest with you. I think with a lot of palettes that do have multi-chromes in them, it does not fit. Multi-chromes are something I personally rather have in one palette just full of multi-chromes that is pre-made. For example, the Adept Cosmetics Seahorse palette. Or I collect them with singles like Cleonet or Lethal Cosmetics. Because the thing is just that some multi-chromes are just very misplaced in the palettes. While, for example, an all multi-chrome palette like the Danessa Myricks Lightwork palettes, they just work because you have all the freedom to combine it with whatever you want. But I personally feel like when I have a palette like this, and it doesn't have to be like this big motherfucker, it can be a smaller, a 10 pen, a 6 pen palette. When there is a multi-chrome in mixed with mattes, I feel the pressure to use the mattes from the palette. I cannot pull in another palette with new mattes. Do you know what I mean? It is a heavy thing for me today to add this Beauty Bay palette to this duo, because the Beauty Bay palette has already shimmers. Why should I combine it with a duo that has shimmers? So I was thinking like, okay, I have to use an all matte palette now to combine it with an all shimmer duo, but I try to break the circle, you know, new year, new me, and all that bullshit that people are saying. But yes, definitely, not every palette needs a multi-chrome. And to be honest, I feel like the whole multi-chrome hype has not died. No, that definitely not. But I feel like it's slowed down a bit. I have the feeling that in 2024, you are going to see very intense metal shades from your favorite indie brands. Foundation that comes with a dropper, awful. Why? Why do you think that's awful? I personally like the dropper thing. I don't know. It's handy. What is bothering you with a dropper? Do you know what my problem with pumps is? I mean, I do prefer a pump over a dropper, yes, but I don't mind the dropper because the pump gets clogged all the fucking time, and I need to unclog a pump and pull out that dried up string of foundation there, which is just really disgusting. Especially when you have a bigger collection. I don't know. Do I have a foundation with a dropper? Yeah, one. I do have only one with a dropper, the Ilia Skin Tint. How many foundations are there with a dropper? I know that the drugstore does this quite a lot, like the L'Oreal one that I actually also like, the Super Air Tint, whatever. Catrice had dropper foundations that were actually really good. But other than that, I cannot come up with a dropper foundation. When the color on the tube doesn't match the product, i.e. NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams, do you know what does that too? In my opinion, Rare Beauty with their lip oils and their lip soufflés, it does nothing look like the packaging. And I agree 100%, I fucking hate that too. Why are you doing this to us? And why am I doing this to me? Like, this is kind of messy right now, but trust the process. That people who know about a technique or product look down on those who share about just learning. I am so sorry that this seems to happen to you, or you at least acknowledge it with other creators or other users. This is just awful because nobody is born and knows everything. And even though in today's, I don't know, like the time of new internet and stuff and the Internet of Things, there are still people who are not aware of certain things, and you cannot expect people to know everything. By the way, this is a silver on crack. Holy smokes. Eyeshadows that no matter how you use them end up making your eyes look so wrinkly. Oh, really? Do you have an example for that? I, from the top of my head, cannot think about an eyeshadow that makes my eyes look wrinkly. I guess with creams, that could be the case. But other than that, but the fact itself, like, yeah, I do understand that. Especially when they do accentuate the wrinkles, or even add wrinkles where you just didn't know you had them, which is also a weird thing. Scented lip products. My migraine cannot handle that. It depends on the scent, to be honest. If it's sweet, like a, I don't know, like vanilla pie or something, or cupcake scent, I can handle that, but as you saw, hopefully last week in my very surprising lip declutter video, there was a lip gloss from Bare Minerals. I just couldn't because it smelled like very old, very sweet fruit that was basically rotten and turning into alcohol. I hated that. This is the type of scent I cannot. I don't want to. Let me say that I don't want to. Another pet peeve of mine, when you have a foundation cap that does not sit right, because usually I do have my foundations over here on a like old Muji drawer on top. And when I grab my foundations, I don't grab them like this, I grab them on the cap. But do you know what this Guerlain foundation does? Let me just put it here on my hand. It does right away come off. I hate that. What the fuck is wrong with you? In general, I feel like scented makeup is something that people really dislike, and I do agree to a certain point. So for example, I personally do not have a problem with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder scent, but I saw somewhere that she's coming out with that scent in a perfume. That's a tad bit too much. But I don't mind the scent at all. Same with foundations. I personally do not mind a scented foundation, depending on how it smells. Or the Clé de Peau translucent setting powder, that also smells like old lady makeup. And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I mean this actually in like vintage makeup way. But I see how people can be bothered by that. And what's going on with my skin today? I'm currently testing out one new glowy primer thing, and I feel like this is not it. Cream shadows that don't come with a protective plastic cover like Hourglass, Victoria Beckham and Moira do have. Oh, I know what you mean. You mean like here in this, okay, that's a bad example, but here in the Chanel concealer, there's also something in there. Is this really necessary for a cream shadow, I'm asking? Because it's not like you have this in one pan or like one palette with powder shadows, but if you only have the cream, you just screw it, like you screw the top on. Is this really necessary to have, besides the screwing top, another protective piece of plastic? Let me know, because I just look over here and I do not have potted cream shadows besides the Nesamax Chrome Flakes, and I don't think they do count as cream shadow. So I'm really asking now, is this really necessary? If so, if this is something that makes the protection higher, highly agree. Then it is a big no-no. Foundation that have a wand or spatula applicator. Why do y'all hate everything else than a pump? By the way, I just grabbed the wrong concealer. I don't want to spot conceal. I want to correct. Why? What's your problem with foundations that do not come with a pump? And please, please, do not come now with the hygienic factor, because this is in my world just an argument that counts for makeup artists. Because when you just by yourself pile the thing on your face, what's wrong with a spatula? Or okay, with a spatula, I get this. What foundation has a spatula? Maybe potted ones like the Chantecaille one, but I actually just scoop my finger in. But doe-foot wands, I don't mind actually. And I'm again looking at my foundations and just realized I do not have a foundation with a wand actually. The only product that I have with a wand is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, and I don't mind that wand. I think it's a good one. I hate how spoolies are so difficult to wash or to clean. Okay, how do you do it? Because when I wash them, I think that's fairly easy. I just put a bit of soap on the spoolie itself, a bit of water, and then just rub the shit out of it. But I agree on the spot cleaning, because I do spot clean with the MAC brush cleanser on a paper towel. And whenever I do this, it just rips off the paper towel, and then I have flakes of paper all over the spoolie. So I just do not clean them to a point where it's not usable anymore, and then I just toss it in my to wash back. But maybe try that out. Just soak the spoolie with a bit of water and then just put a droplet of soap on them, like liquid soap, for example, dish soap or shampoo, whatever you use, and then just rub it like you would. No, we're not talking about that, but just rub it. I'm also testing a new concealer today and I don't know how I feel. Palettes that are round or otherwise oddly shaped that are difficult to store. Oh girl, I am so with you in this. I'm just looking and side-eyeing over at my Isamaya stuff, because the Isamaya stuff is actually just laying flat in my shelf because it's impossible to store. And if you don't know what I mean, because you never tried Isamaya, we have the Industria 1 that is like this. We have Industria 2 that's the same but in silver. And then, you know, these I could live with, but even worse, we have the Wild Horse palette that not only is round but also has the 3D printed horse on it. It's just impossible to put them in a shelf. I hate that so much. I get you, I feel you, I totally agree with you. I'm shaking up my NARS Orgasm Liquid Blush. The first ones, not the new ones that apparently are not that good, I heard. Discontinuing things that many people like with no explanation. It's okay if you can't source the ingredients. Oh, I so agree on this. And I'm actually currently working on a video about makeup that has been discontinued and we all wish to come back. So expect a community post on that soon because I of course need your input. I am searching the internet actually up and down, but I don't know, I don't seem to find so many things that are high-end. I mainly find drugstore things and that's not what I want to have. So I'm working on a post like that, but immediately from the top of my head, the Hourglass Ghost palette is the first one I thought of, to be honest, because that was a gem and I am so sad that at the time when this came out, I didn't buy it. The ingredient thing is something that currently, or that last year was happening to Blend Bunny Cosmetics. One of their palettes, I think the Search one, they had to discontinue because the neon pigments were super expensive to get. So yes, I get that, but just discontinuing products for the sake of discontinuing them and bring out new things is just, I don't know. It's just a way to make more money of you. But on the other side, I think we also have to consider the fact that we in this community, we just are, I think, the smallest part of the makeup industry. We're not the biggest part of the consumer party here. So maybe when one of our very beloved products that we love to use and we want to basically eat and consume all the time is discontinued, maybe it's not doing well in the general market. Maybe it's just us who like this product so much. By the way, I'm still working my way through all the BFF cream lighters from Colourpop that I bought in their sale. So I thought, let's apply this blue one today. People applying makeup and cream straight from the tube and let them glide on their face. Okay, that's a very specific one because I feel like for certain items, that's just the intended use. Like the Charlotte Tilbury blush ones or the contour ones or the highlight ones, how else would you use them? Do you put them on an extra brush or a mixing plate and then pick them up? Why should you do that? Or why should you put them on the finger and not apply them directly? I get this with stick bronzers lately. I was one of those people who did not apply stick bronzer with a brush. I just swiped them on and blended them out. But for whatever reason, I currently just enjoy picking it up with a brush more. That could change anytime soon. Or for example, the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush. What are you doing with them? Are you putting them on a plate and then pick them up? I dot them on the face and blend them out from there. Why the extra step? It's just so interesting how different we all are in this makeup community. I just love it. By the way, if you hear weird noises, my husband is currently working out and then goes to shower, which is basically next to this room where I'm filming. I do think it also depends a bit on the product itself, because For example, the Westman Atelier stick blushes, I can easily apply directly on the face without them disturbing the foundation underneath, while the Pat McGrath version, I can't. Like, I have to put this on a brush before I apply it on the face. But that's just how different we are and how in a different way we just enjoy our makeup application techniques. I want to pull in glitter today, so I'm heading over to the Lemonhead LA palette. By the way, this is the shade of Phantom from Lemonhead LA. It's one of those shifty shades that are translucent in the beginning, but they do shift blue. If you are up to releases, the shade Myrrh, M-Y-R-R-H, from Cleonet, from their holiday bundle that they released, is basically the same thing but in a pressed version. I really have to go back to glitter inner corners. I'm missing that. Quota nudes in every otherwise colorful palette. Those random nudes suit no one. I partly disagree with that because depending on what kind of color theme you have going on, I think a certain type of nude can help blend things out. But there are also times where it just matches. For example, let's just take this as an example, this Beauty Bay palette. I think a row of grays would have made a beautiful addition to this. And I do consider gray still a nude color. I'm not talking about like browns and stuff. And if so, give us a cool tone blending shade in palettes like this. But sometimes I see those colorful palettes and then you have like beiges. Why? Now let's head over to the YouTube comments, and they're a bit longer actually. 1, you pay luxury price and get drugstore packaging. I fully agree. When I pay a luxury price for a product, I expect also the luxury packaging, because to me, it's not only about the product. When I pay a luxury price, it's also about the experience. But I think this also is vice versa. So when you pay a luxury price and you get a beautiful luxury packaging, but just drugstore or very bad quality, that's also not okay. You buy a drugstore product at mid-range Sephora price. That's basically what I just said. Influencers getting paid to tell us products are great when you can see in the video all sorts of issues. Oh, I do have immediately Michaela in my mind. And wasn't there Laura Lee, I think, when there was this Essence thing where suddenly everybody was doing a sponsored Essence post, and first of all, like 80% of them did not disclose this as sponsored or as an ad or whatever. And Laura Lee was the one who uploaded a TikTok video of her raving about the shade ranges and shit, and you were so able to see how this shade does not fit her. It was like straight up yellow on her. She looked like a banana. Brands not listening to consumers and the issues they have. Just some of my thoughts for now. With the last one, it's again a point where I kind of have to agree and disagree at the same time. Because the question here is, again, what do you expect? Is a brand able to listen to everybody? It is not. But I have to agree on the fact that with certain issues, it's just something that everybody can benefit, and that is not depending on any shades or like texture preferences. For example, when there is a certain makeup item that's spilling, for example, like a lip gloss, whenever you put it in, it's like coming out. Or the House Labs concealer, the doe foot is way too big for that small opening. It does not fucking fit. So it is no issue to solve this and to maybe even make the doe foot smaller or their opening a bit bigger, so everybody is happy. There are just certain issues, in my opinion, that can be solved by the brands so easy if they would listen. But there are also issues that it's just impossible, first of all, to listen to everybody, and second of all, to then make it right for everybody. Brands that have swatches that are not representative of the actual shades of their products on their websites. Oh, yeah, Pat McGrath. It's always the case with Pat McGrath. I have no clue in what kind of studio lighting they do the swatches, but they never look like the real life swatches. Never. Computer generated swatches on websites. Yeah. What was that brand? There was a new brand that's coming Tixel Beauty? No, that was an Instagram account. Saigo Beauty with those Photoshop mats on the arm, or Hindash also, they were definitely Photoshopped. You cannot tell me otherwise. It's just so dumb. Like, take that extra fucking money and pay somebody to do nice swatches. Reformulating products to make them clean. Yeah, we had that one. Strong fragrance in products that don't need them, like blush. I agree. Like, why does a blush have to smell? That makes no sense at all. Using the weird backward foundation naming system like MAC and House Labs. So warm toned person should buy a C shade. House Labs? Are you sure? Because I am a N shade in House Labs. Am I? What am I? I am a fair neutral shade. And I agree, I am neutral, maybe leaning a bit warm, so I'm not sure. Does House Labs really do this? I have to look that up. Otherwise, if I forget to look it up, just tell me in the comments. I'm very curious, is that true? But with MAC, I know what you mean. But the thing is, MAC is not or was not intended for the use for private people. If you saw my brand review video on MAC that I did, MAC was meant to be used for professionals. So in the color theory system, that makes sense because you basically have the shade to counteract that undertone so that you have a slightly balanced out vision of your appearance on photos and films. For a private person, I totally understand that this is very confusing. Cheap packaging unless it's at drugstore pricing, like magnetic pens of highlighter that spin in their compact. Not Pat McGrath, Charlotte Tilbury, yeah, 100%. And then we have definite formulation issues that are never remedied, like the Lisa Eldridge bullet lipstick snapping off their base. Remedied? I'm sorry if I'm butchering that word. I didn't know that they snap at the bottom. I do have two Lisa Eldridge lipsticks that I just haven't used a lot because one is a deep red and the other one is a basic nude, but I'm currently just more into glossy lips. I didn't know that they snap off at the base, which is a bummer. Like, why? They're like pricey, so I expect good packaging and good formulation that they don't do this. Indie brands charging astronomical prices when a lot of them are private label. Ainsley Rain. Oh, I do have something in my throat again. Yes, I just couldn't agree more. I just hate this. And what's even worse in my opinion is the fact that these who charge that much then also explain it with, yeah, but we're an indie brand, okay? So what? So I actually expect that you can maybe give us the things for less money, because when you're truly an indie brand, you are directly at the source of production. You know, with brands that are sold at Sephora or like done in very big factories, I get that they are a bit more expensive because you basically are as customer, I don't know, like on the 6th or 7th spot in the like marketing line. But when you're an indie brand and you're doing the stuff alone, or you have like a direct connection to that factory, yes, this charging like Ainsley Rain is just outrageous. Unless the quality is outstanding, like Cleona shadows. I mean, let's be honest, they range from $7 or $8 up to 17 and I don't know, I think 17, 18 is the highest that I've seen so far. And they are worth it. Even the high priced ones are definitely worth it. Same with Lethal Cosmetics. I think they are worth it, but they're also like good priced for what you get. But like brands like Ainsley Rain, not. While a brand like Odin's Eye, who's private labeled, I think they do this really good, because you have like 44, 43 euro per palette with 16 pans. That's a good price in my opinion. But I just saw this indie brand Mika Beauty Shop. They bring out a new palette, a 12 pan multi-chrome palette, and they charge 80 or 90 bucks for it. Like, first of all, I have no idea who this brand is, so I never heard of them. Second of all, I was on their website and the website is not professional looking. Like if I would buy, or if I would have planned to buy a palette from them, I wouldn't because of this unprofessional website. And then charging us so much? That's a bold statement. The inability to name shades so that one knows what to get, like the undertone. Why is it so hard for most brands to name the freaking undertone? Add photoshopped and or stupid swatches. Why do the buyers have to research what color the product actually is? Especially the undertone thing. I don't know what the problem is, why this is so hard to do for brands. Just give us a good undertone explanation. I don't care if you don't have all the undertones in the first place. I don't care if I find my specific undertone, but a good explanation is a very, very big step to help me decide. For example, the new Louboutin foundation. What have they done? Like, I have no fucking clue what shade I am. So 0.5N and 10N in the foundation shade range, they have the same description. For the fairest skin with neutral undertone. But why is then a 0.5 and a 10N? Give me an explanation and give me good, realistic swatches. So the next comment is a truly interesting discussion because I feel like here we have a lot of the cultural differences between European countries and the States. Photoshopping raises unrealistic expectations. Check. I understand. I get that and I agree. Boring releases that all look the same, NARS. Yes, I was kind of thinking about maybe I should try a NARS palette, but then I looked and I was like, well, they all look the same, so what should I use? Over-sexualized names give me the ick, and that's, I'm sorry, but that's an American thing, because I can only rephrase what I see in the media. So if you Americans, you disagree with me, please let me know. Don't hate me, but I can only say from what I've seen and heard from either friends that I have in the States or mainly the medial representation of the States, you know, so don't blame me for the picture that media is painting on you, but you Americans are prude as fuck. Like, showing a nipple on TV is like the worst nightmare ever, but selling guns at Walmart, that's completely normal. That's the picture I have from the States. Just being honest here. And I don't know why the use of sexual names is such a big deal. Like, fuck it. I just love how Isamaya French said fuck it and did a penis lipstick. I love this. I love the fact that her skin lac just looks like sperm, that on the industrial palettes she is on there naked. Who cares? It's a body, it's normal, it's nothing special. The fear of the human body that is in the States is just unmatched to any other country in the European world, to be honest. And I think that's also the case with specific words, like curse words. I do have a friend that is from the States but now lives in Germany, and she just told me that story, how freaking shocked she was when she heard music in the public radio for the first time and certain words like fuck and sex and vagina and tits and whatever are not beeped out. I am so annoyed by the videos where you just hear the beep on YouTube when there is a word like sex, sexual, or whatever, or penis. It's normal. Get over it. I mean, I don't need a product that is called face sperm. That is a bit too much. But just call it orgasm. Do penis lipsticks. Who the fuck cares? Why are people so annoyed by the name orgasm? Why are people so annoyed by the name pillow talk? Or pillowgasm from Wishful. Who cares? By the way, I'm sorry if now a bit of the video was blurry, but it's like impossible to do mascara without the mirror having here. Limited edition FOMO panic buy, there's just no need. Oh, that is actually one of my favorite comments because I cannot agree more. I had a friend over when you see it was last week. And she just wanted to have some tips on makeup application, where to start, because she's just discovering it for herself now. And we were talking about highlighters, primers, makeup palettes, and all that shit. And she was looking for a highlighter that matches her vibe because she is not as loud as I am. She's a bit more natural and she wanted to have something natural. And I showed her the Tom Ford highlighter from the winter collection, the Grand Paradis one. Not available anymore because it was limited edition. Then I thought, okay, maybe you want to have an all-in-one face palette, so I showed her the Bobbi Brown Glow and Sculpt palette. Not available anymore because it was limited edition. Like, it's a fucking face palette. What is the need to do this as a limited edition? When brands change pans, menagerie, square to round, or the pans are different sizes like Too Faced, or when there's eyeshadow in face palettes, I agree with all of those. Have you seen the Clayona drama that has been going on because they changed their embossing on the pans and people are crazy? People are now demanding that their orders come with only the new press stuff because they don't want to have mixed things in their palettes. The size is the same, they just changed from that like a little bit of a domed to a more looking like this stained glass thing, you know, from the churches, what is basically inspiring the whole collection. But they freak out because of the new embossing. That's a bit too much in my opinion, but the changing pans, that's just awful because you are just maybe starting a single shadow collection, or you are maybe drawn to a specific brand because they have magnetic pans and so you can change them in the palettes, but then all of a sudden they just change all the sizes and you can't do it anymore. I get why this is upsetting. Palettes that have creams and powders together without a protective cover, or even without a cover, I hate it. For example, the Dior Holiday Multi-Use palettes that contain face powder products, eyeshadows and lip shades all together. Hella expensive and totally impractical. Yeah, impractical, oh my god. Totally agree. In general, I hate face and eye palettes together. It's the only reason why I have not bought the Natasha Denona palettes, the one with the 2 face powders or face creams, whatever, and the 5 eyeshadows. I think the dark one was it. It looks really good, but I would never use this because I'm so turned off. I didn't even know where to store it. Should I store it with my eyeshadow palettes or here with my face palettes? I hate products like that. I'm not the targeted audience for that. By the way, I'm using the Hourglass Phantom Glossy Balm in the shade Rise. Oh my god, look at this nude glossy shade. I think what upsets me the most is when you know these brands are making mad money, yet they still have shitty swatches in lighting that is nothing like anywhere a person would be in that product. Cough, cough, Pat McGrath. Yes, it's her overly filtered videos. I like the artistry behind that. So if she is doing a makeup look on somebody, on a model, on a runway, whatever, or even showcasing a product, I love that in those shots. But when you do swatch videos or you show a certain product, don't do this fucking glitter filter. It's awful. Plus, I prefer not having to pre-order from an established brand. If a brand has had 4 eyeshadow palettes sell out multiple times, then surely they can have some kind of inventory in stock. I am not 100% sure if you are referring to a certain brand, but I don't know why, but I get Cosmic Brushes vibes from that comment. Is that true? Is that Cosmic Brushes you're referring to? I mean, the pre-order thing we discussed in last week's, you don't need that shit with the Bella Beauté bar stuff that is pre-ordered for 3 months in advance. Like, what the fuck? Unearthly Cosmetics does the same. They do have their Valentine's mystery box. You were able to pre-order it like 2 weeks ago for mid-February, which in my opinion is fine. It would have been like 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, get that. But then you were able like 2 days later to pre-order it for an April delivery. Like, what is going on? That's just bullshit. Magnetic pans. Indie brands are expensive enough. I hate to pay for magnetism knowing I'll never move the shades. Or changing the order of pans. You girl, you understand me. My brain hurts by the thought of rearranging my Adept Cosmetics palettes. I would never do this. I love seeing it from other people, but I myself, never ever. Same with Natasha Denona. Even my Lethal Cosmetics palettes that are truly made to be, designed by yourself, I would not change because I designed them for purpose, so I will not change the order of the eyeshadows in there or put them in another direction. No way. And I also feel disappointed if shades have no names or they're written on the back. Oh, thank you. Do you know what's even worse? The Too Faced, what's it called? The Italian Spritz palette. The names are printed not beneath, like under the pants. They're above the pants. Whose idea was that? Nobody wants that. Everybody is putting, please, the shades underneath your pan. Thank you. And I want to end this video with a question that was actually posted on the community tab here from a subscriber. Do you think if these makeup brands sent out less PR packages, which I have noticed with a lot of them not very much used by the way, maybe the product prices for us normal consumers will come down? I'm honest with you, they won't. Definitely not. If you're not in the field of a brand like that, I'm not in the field of makeup brands, but of another brand like a mobile company, but do you have an idea how big the budget is for marketing expenses? It's so high up there, I don't want to think about that. And same goes for makeup brands. You always have to think about the fact that the cost of production for a palette is like, I don't know, like a fraction of the price that you as an end consumer has to pay. That means when these brands send out PR, they're not paying a lot for it. It's incredible. And the way or the amount of sales they do from the PR they send out to an influencer is just astronomical high. And that is all the comments that I got, all the things that I had to talk about. Do I have other pet peeves that were not mentioned? Not a lot, actually. I have to admit, a lot of the things that are bothering me were mentioned in your comments, so that just shows how similar we all are, but at the same time, how different we all are, and I just love that. What is your topic that you would like to talk about in the next Controversy Friday? If there is something specifically, let me please know down below. Make sure you subscribe because so you see this. Maybe I should say this sentence always in the beginning. I think I have to change my intro. Okay, that was just a quick thought. So thank you. And if there are more pet peeves that were not mentioned here in the video, put them down below. We love all to read that. And I hope I can see you in the next one.